members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Chairman and National Commissioners of INEC, I welcome you all to this formal opening of the National Collation Center for the Presidential Election 2023. At this point, we will start the program with the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, let's rise for the national anthem. Please take your seats. Once more, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Chairman of INEC, who is the Chief Electoral Commissioner, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and who is also the Chief Returning Officer at the presidential election. He will be collating the results from the resident electoral commissioners, and he, by law, will declare the winner of the presidential election. It's Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, Chairman, INEC. Please, let's give him a round of applause, please. He's also flanked by National Commissioners of INEC. To his left is Barrister Festus Okoye, a National Commissioner. We also have Professor Sani Adam, SAN, a National Commissioner. To his left is Professor Kunle Ajayi, a National Commissioner. And to his left is Professor Abdullahi Abduzuru, a National Commissioner. And to his left is Professor Sani Kala, a National Commissioner. And to his left is Major General Modibo Akali, retired. And then Malam Mohamed Haruna, also a National Commissioner. And to the right of Honorable Chairman of NINEC is Barrister Mrs. Mi Agbamushimbo, a National Commissioner. And then Mr. Kenneth Okiagu, a National Commissioner. And then to his right is Professor Rhoda Gomez, also a National Commissioner. And we have Dr. Bababila, a National Commissioner to her right. And finally, Mr. Sam Olumekun MNI, a National Commissioner. It's my pleasure to also specially welcome the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, CFR, to our midst. A round of applause for this Inspector General, please. It's also my honor and privilege to respectfully recognize the presence of chairmen of some electoral commissions from sister African countries here present. Mr. Jacobs Mwambegele is the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Tanzania. You're welcome, sir. A round of applause for him. We also have Mrs. Elsie Ngikembua, chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Namibia. Is she around? She's here to come. Mrs. Davidetta Lansana, chairperson of National Electoral Commission of Liberia. A round of applause for her, please, all the way from Liberia. We have Ba Isaka Sona, chairman of the Electoral Commission of Niger. You're welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Sekalafia, chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Benin. Welcome, sir. We have Mr. Elsie Oedraogo, chairman Electoral Commission Burkina Faso. Is he around? Maybe he'll soon join us. Also here in Nigeria, Mr. Mohamed Kone, chairman Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. We have Mr. Aliu Muma Njai, Chairman, Electoral Commission of Gambia. We also have in Nigeria, Mrs. Jane Mensah, Chairperson, the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Maybe she will soon join us. It's my pleasure to also recognize together all the chairmen and secretaries of the 18 political parties here present and all the party agents. You are especially welcome to this collation center. And all the heads of development agencies here present, members of the INEC Press Corps, and all the journalists here present. You're all welcome. With that, it's my pleasure and privilege to now invite the chairman of INEC to please make a few remarks. Honorable Chairman, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The Inspector General of Police, the agents representing the political parties, national and international observers, members of the diplomatic corps, my colleagues, the chairmen of electoral commissions from East, West, and Southern Africa, representatives of the various security agencies, the media, national and international, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, I welcome you all to the formal opening of the 2023 Presidential Election Results Collation Center. As some of you are aware, collation of presidential election results in Nigeria is done at 4 levels. After the conclusion of voting, counting, and recording of results at the various polling units. The results are first tallied and collated at the 8,809 registration areas or wards. The collated ward-level results are tallied and collated at the 774 local government areas nationwide. Thereafter, they are tallied and collated in each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The collated figures for each state and the Federal Capital Territory are finally collated here in Abuja, where the announcement of the outcome of the election will be made by the returning officer for the presidential election, who also doubles as the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation. And this is a duty that I'm privileged to perform, and it will be done here at this venue. As we commence the concluding processes, it is my duty to explain the procedure and set the ground rules for the proceedings as follows. 1, all accredited agents, observers, the media, the diplomatic community, and security agencies should adhere to the sitting positions assigned to them. 2, results for each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory shall be presented by the state collation officer for the presidential election, or simply put, the SCOP, who will also serve as the collation officer at state and the FCT level. After collecting the results at state level, the SCOP shall be accompanied to Abuja by the resident electoral commissioner and security agencies. On arrival at the collation center, the SCOP shall be received by the Collation Secretariat, which shall organize the sequence of presentation. The returning officer shall invite the scope, the state collation officer for the presidential election, accompanied by the resident electoral commissioner, to the seat we are going to provide to my left for the presentation of the results. The scope, following the format for the presentation of results, shall loudly announce the votes scored by each political party in the state, including reports of cancellations and areas where elections did not hold, if any. The returning officer then invites comments and observations, if any, from the polling agents. The returning officer requests the scope to submit the original copy of Form EC8D. When all the scopes have presented their results, the returning officer shall display the sealed copies of result sheets EC8DA, which is the summary of results of elections on state-by-state basis. The EC8E, the declaration of results for the election, and EC40G3, summary of registered voters in the polling units where elections were either cancelled or not held. And I will have the privilege of displaying the blank forms before proceeding starts after the receipt of the reports from the various state collation officers. Next, the returning officer shall complete the EC8DA and announce the votes scored by each party, and thereafter will invite the polling agents to endorse the form. The returning officer then completes the EC40G3 and compares it with Form EC8DA to ascertain if any of the candidates has satisfied the requirements of the law to proceed with declaration. If satisfied, the returning officer completes Form EC8E and makes a declaration of winner. And finally, the returning officer invites the agents of political parties to receive duplicate copies of the EC8DA and EC8E, which is the final declaration of results. Having set the ground rules, from today, the Collation Center is hereby declared open until the final determination of the 2023 presidential election. During the course of proceedings, there may be interlude or adjournments. This will be announced by the returning officer as the need arises. As soon as any of the scopes arrives, the process of collation will begin. Once the process begins, the Collation Center will be open all day and all night, subject only to short breaks as may be announced by the returning officer. The official results will be shown on several screens here at the Collation Center. There are a number of screens to my left and right. There is also a giant screen behind me on which we'll be projecting the results that the scopes are presenting for collation. I appeal to all political parties and media organizations to draw their figures only from the official results released by the Commission as the only body constitutionally responsible for releasing official election figures. When the scopes arrive, they will sit in the open. So there will be seats at the end of the hall. To my right, you will see black leather chairs. That is the holding area for the state collation officers for the presidential election. And then by the side to my right, you will see a table there. That is the collation secretariat. And the collation secretariat is directly under me. So everything that we are going to do here will be done in the open. There is no other room where any other procedure is holding outside this hall. Yes, we have our situation room, but that is just the situation room for the commission. But once collation starts, everything begins and ends in this hall and in the open. As the collation of results progresses, the Commission may find it necessary to brief the nation on matters relating to the election, but unrelated to the collation of results. When the need for such briefing arises, it will not be done here in the collation center. A media center has been prepared in Aso Hall, right behind this building, but within the premises, these premises, for such briefings. Aso Hall has actually been prepared as our media center. So when we need to make briefings unrelated to the collation of results, it will be done there. So we maintain the sanctity of this hall, essentially for the collation of results and matters arising from the collation of results. Where I am unable to personally brief the media, the National Commissioner responsible for information and voter education, sitting to my immediate left, Barrister Festus Okoye, will perform that responsibility. So as we await the arrival of the scopes, we will now take a break and resume at 6 p.m. We are certain that by 6 p.m., one or two of the scopes will arrive with the results. So we begin the process of collation. I thank you very much. We resume at 6 p.m. God bless you all.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman INEC. As the Chairman has announced, proceedings will be suspended for a few hours and we will resume here at 6 p.m. On that note, I thank you all for coming here for the formal opening session of the National Collation Center. We thank the Inspector General of Police for coming. We thank all the chairpersons and chairmen of electoral commissions of sister African countries. We thank all the members of the political parties, the leadership of the parties, the party agents. We thank all persons from the diplomatic corps here present, all friends from diplomatic agencies, CSOs, NGOs, the media. This is good, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for coming. Thank you. want to do, we'll still do it. That
yes,
thing.
we'll still do it. We'll still do it.
Oh, that's at 6 p.m.
Yes, at 6 p.m. So I told them I'm hoping that they will. Because you know, Chairman initially was saying that the podium was too big. It was too small, that they would put. But he's not using this. You are the one using it anyway.
He's not using it.
Support things that we made them go and make another one.
Oh, sorry.